be keeping it raw. I am a dirty old auntie. I'm a cougar. I'm a cougar in the street. So
Ask an Auntie Oracle. Ask an Auntie Oracle. What you wanna know? Ask an Auntie Oracle. Hi everyone. This is Mayo Buenafe. I am the visionary founder and business owner of the Unlearning Community School. So the Unlearning Community School is a third space for learning, specifically for liberatory, cultural, and political education. I started the Unlearning Community School because I was an educator for over 10 years in higher education, both in the Philippines and the United States. I was also in academia for 17 years. I saw firsthand, as well as experienced, how school is really not a safe place for us to learn, how you are being silenced and also dismissed if you come from a marginalized community, and how our own histories and the legacies of the contributions of our community has been and is increasingly under attack in the curriculum. So I saw this need to create an alternative space where we can freely know together and learn together about our own cultures, as well as the political systems and social dynamics and just the challenges that our society faces. And we can talk about it freely with one another. So, a huge part of the Unlearning Community School is our focus on decolonial approaches. And what I mean by that is specifically drawing from indigenous knowledge systems and practices that are centuries time immemorial, not old, but also are increasingly being used right now to address a lot of the current challenges that these current colonial structures are just falling apart. The things that they're teaching us and what they've been trying to assimilate and socialize into us as a way to address challenges is no longer working, and has also been very violent and has hurt our communities. So the Unlearning Community School draws from the vast knowledge base of indigenous communities, which we are all from, but maybe have been disconnected from, or have been shamed out, or violently has been erased from us due to colonization and capitalism and white supremacy and these other forms of oppression that don't want us to know who we are, know about one another, and know about where we come from. A lot of us yearn to reconnect with that. Our emphasis on decolonial approaches also goes hand in hand with peer and intergenerational mentorship as a way that we can learn with each other and also from our elders or young elders and different people in our community. Doesn't matter if they got degrees or wrote books or what their accolades are, but that they also hold knowledge from their experiences of where they're from and who they are. We're really trying to flip the script about what it is to really learn about the truth and learn about our roots and learn about how we can address the current challenges we're facing today. If you are one of those people who have been pushed out or pulled out of education systems because you didn't get good grades, too many absences, or that you just simply challenged old models of thinking that are rooted in colonization and white supremacist mentalities, if you challenge that in the system and you got punished for it and you got kicked out of school, but you still have this yearning and love and passion for knowledge, we want to really invite you to be part of the Unlearning Community School with us. We specifically want to invite those who are frontline community service providers. And what I mean by that is, if you are doing something that is in direct service to the community you are from, this can be educators, therapists, youth workers, activists, organizers, creatives, artists. If there's something that you are doing and you want to use what you do to offer to your community, but also yearn for a space where you too are nourished, please join Unlearn with us at the Unlearning Community School. You can see the various offerings we have. We do community collaborative events, workshops, and training programs. I also do one-on-one consulting and cultural strategy and Oracle sessions if you need that more personal guidance and support. We emphasize that we need to unlearn to learn so that we can learn to unlearn and vice versa. So if you vibe with that, that feels like it resonates with where you are at, please connect with us and we would love to build with you. Peace. Hi, I'm Mayo Buenafe. I am an indigenous Filipina. I come from the Ifugao, Itneg, Ilocano communities on my father's side, and from the Tagalog and Fujian Chinese communities in the Philippines on my mother's side. I am a genderqueer, bilingual immigrant. You can't tell by my voice, but she's a full immigrant out here living in America. I grew up undocumented in the 90s. I lived in the Outer Mission and Top of the Hill, Daly City, Bay Area. And that's why I talk this way. But then I also went to like high school and college and worked in the Philippines, mainly in Caloocan City and Baguio City. So that's where I claim my home. I'm an educator. I've been teaching since I was 21 years old, mainly in applied anthropology and political science. I also became an ethnic studies professor, really pivoted when I leaned into wanting to teach through decolonial perspectives and community engaged work. So I'm also an organizer and I very much love to work with youth workers, anyone who works with transitional age youth. And I also currently mentor a bunch of my former students who are now also my homies and friends I'm building the Unlearning Community School with. I'm the founder and visionary of the Unlearning Community School, and I'm so excited to introduce y'all to the rest of my team.
Hi, my name is Mar, any and all pronouns. I am a settler on Turtle Island. We immigrated from the Philippines, to which we are native to the Ibeloy people. And so that's where I came from. I am a former student of Mayo, and that's how I got into the Unlearning Community School. I am the graphic designer, resident astrology, and all types of arts and stuff. So if you see any of my flyers, there's a good chance that I contributed into some degree. And I am in the Unlearning Community School because I am on my decolonizing journey and I'm learning liberatory practices which I could apply in my life so that I could free myself from the system. So that's me.
Whoop whoop. Hi, everyone. My name is Mary Rove. I am African American, descendant of American child slavery. I live in California on the unceded lands of the Yokits Nation forever and always. I actually grew up in the dirty, dirty Deep South in a place called Pine Bluff, Arkansas, which is in the southern part of the state, and it is very close to Mississippi and Louisiana. So I grew up in the northernmost part of the Mississippi Delta in that area. I am a lifelong educator. You can call me Miss Teacher Lady. If you see me in these streets, I started teaching in 1993 in Washington, D.C., where I actually started teaching seventh grade world geography and then eighth grade American history. And I have been teaching and working as an advocate in education, K through 12 and higher ed ever since, for social justice, for equity, all of the movements and the ethos and the principles that are anathema to the demons in charge in these streets right now. Mm-hmm. I actually met Mayo once I transitioned from a K through 12 public school teacher to becoming an instructor and then a professor in the academy, which is a plantation. And I am currently an academic. I am a professor. I'm an educator. I'm a social justice activist, and I am an auntie. So I am connected with Mayo and Mar through the Unlearning Community School, because it is absolutely my vision. It is one that I share very much with Mayo as a fellow Oracle auntie and Oracle in service. And I am so excited for us to be embarking on this journey together. So you'll see a lot more of us. Peace. Hello. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Welcome to the Auntie Oracles time. We are going to share a little bit of background about what is Ask an Auntie Oracle. For me, what is an Auntie Oracle combines two really key words, which is Oracle and Auntie. My name is Mary Rove. Thank you for letting me introduce myself. I consider myself a yelder. I consider myself to be a young elder, and I am a literal aunt. I am also a great aunt. I have nephews, I have grandnieces and nephews. So I have accumulated quite a bit of time marinating as a two legged or as a human being on this planet and a lot of experiences. And because I have always, from a very young age, really intuitively embraced and been drawn to healing, been drawn to my actual indigenous practices from a variety of lineages, for me, becoming older doesn't mean becoming hagged out. It has nothing to do with aesthetics. It has nothing to do with wrinkles. It has nothing to do with Botox. It has to do with evolving and glowing up in terms of constantly and incrementally letting my light shine and taking away all of the layers that dim and dull my light. And so for me, as an Auntie Oracle at 56 years young, my process of becoming older has really been about becoming more timeless and more universal. That brings me to the oracle portion. The oracle portion also is directly connected to, as we embark on our life's journey, we go through different phases, through different eras of our lives. It's always being open, being really curious about the world around us, about all of the people whose paths we cross and who cross ours, and about ultimately keeping it real and true with ourselves from a place of deep compassion and from a place of acceptance of, I see this is where I am, asking myself, why am I doing this? I'm telling you, when you ask yourself those questions and you let them percolate, this is what develops intuition. This is what fine tunes our discernment and our wisdom. And so for me, being an oracle in service means that I am reclaiming the practices of my indigenous African ancestors, my indigenous Pamunkey and Choctaw ancestors, and my indigenous European ancestors before colonization and Christianizing to I am an elder, which means I am here to share my wisdom, to share my learning, and to help intergenerationally, people younger than me tap into their own inner oracle and guide them through that process. So that's what Auntie Oracle is to me. I'm going to drink some water now.
And while Mary does that, I will add in a few other layers for myself. So, as an Indigenous Filipina, um, auntie in Tagalog means tita in our community because there's always that honorific. In our community, if you have an older sister, you call them ate or manang. If you have an older brother, you call them kuya or manong. And we have specific titles or honorifics of way to address those people who are older than us and younger than us, not just by their name, but also what role they have in terms of our relationship with them. So in my culture, aunties or titas are basically the matriarchs of your community. And I don't know where this Asian stereotype came from that Asian women are docile and submissive because I come from fierce, intense, kind of scary matriarchs in my family, meaning like They can cut you with a look. They can tear you down with words. They can inflict pain by just throwing a slipper at you. And even if it misses, you still know it's like, oh shit, I got to be on my, toes, and I got to be respectful of how I present myself around these matriarchs. And so, aunties for me growing up were the matriarchs of not just my blood family, but my entire community. That you have to come with a certain reverence and respect, because they are knowledge holders, and also they stay checking you and observing how you move. And also, aside from maybe your own mother, like aunties are like your secondary mothers in your community. And so it very much is around like the divine feminine and the wisdom and culture keepers, in our community that exude the divine feminine. And this goes across all genders because femininity can be expressed, divine femininity can be expressed in whatever body you come in, honey. And so, being an auntie oracle, I am also a real life auntie to all boys. Like, I have all nephews. And then I'm also a mentor, being an educator for as long as I have been, since I was 21 years old. I'm about to be 40 this year. So I've been out here like mentoring and being an auntie, um, through my role as an educator for almost 20 years. An oracle for me, how me and Mary got into our journey as being oracles, is we really got spiritually initiated. Um, we went through a series and cycles of life experiences and challenges that that, shall I say, like, really pushed our spirit to evolve. When you go through a lot of fucked up shit, trials and tribulations in life, and you don't become those monsters, you will gain wisdom, and you will gain that wisdom from a divine source that transcends earth. And so for me, oracles are sources of divine knowledge. That's why anybody can also be an oracle if you know how to channel, tap in, and integrate that divine wisdom, that sacred information that helps cultivate life,
Mm-hmm.
which is another divine femininity power, is how you cultivate life. So, yeah.
We're going to do a sacred pause. You're going to learn about our own kind of Auntie Oracle speak, but want to pause to see if we get any more downloads to share before we go to our very first Ask an Auntie Oracle question. And before we do that, we're going to go a little bit into the background of how we came up with these questions. To me, this process is very interesting as a long time engager with and purveyor of content creators on YouTube. The Unlearning Community School is this space that is this really sacred space that is truly based on true Ubuntu. You'll learn more about that as we go. So Mayo's vision came to fruition with a collective, with a small community that has expanded outward to encompass more and more individuals through a combination of in person and online events. These questions actually come from an in person event that Unlearning Community School just held very recently. And we did a little kind of sneak preview and teaser of Ask an Auntie Oracle, and everyone had the opportunity to pause and reflect and write down on pieces of paper any topic and any question. Nothing is ever off limits to us. We were able to respond to a couple of those questions. We collected the remainder of them, and we are embarking upon a series of monthly Ask an Auntie Oracle sessions where we answer those questions that our community members at this time posed for us. So this is very exciting, and I'm very happy that you're joining us for this kickoff to Ask an Auntie Oracle.
Yes. And, we really made this first introductory video to like really let y'all know who we are, what we about, why we doing this. And, Mary just described the kind of the logistics of how we came up with a lot of these first topics that we're going to talk about. It's through these community collaborative events that the Unlearning Community School does, emphasis on collaborative. So we really want to emphasize working and building with the community and communities that we belong to. So if I have a friendship like with Mar, who is my former student, Mar can then invite, people that they're friends with and their community members into the space. And so everybody that's part of the Unlearning Community School has a relationship with at least one other person there. And a lot of our events are very much, like we invite folks that we specifically think are aligned with whatever theme or topic that we're going to be celebrating that day. So for our last event, it was called Spread Your Light. It was at downtown Oakland with Teresa, who is the business owner of Spread Your Light Studios. And part of the event was an open mic where different folks shared what their light is, like what is their art, creative practice, things that they make that they wanted to share with the community so that they can connect with community. So Ask an Auntie Oracle is kind of a continuation of that idea as well, of connecting us together through these aligned, maybe not just necessarily visions, but what is on your heart right now? What is on your spirit? What are you navigating? Did you have some dreams that you had lately, but you don't really know what they can possibly mean? And you are giving your consent to ask for guidance in how to navigate that. And you're asking from your, matriarchs and young elders out here. And we will share what we know, and we will also admit when we don't know. Because we don't know everything, okay? you might need a therapist for that, or you might need, to ask a local pastor. There might be someone else in your community who would be better to address these things, but we will do our best in our auntie, oracle role to help navigate that with you. I know for me that being an oracle, I'm only really able to give guidance if either like three conditions have to happen for me. You give your consent to ask me, like meaning you want me to offer guidance to you, right? Like I have to have your consent to read you, and I might read you for filth, but you got to give me consent to give you the read, honey. The second is I maybe went through it myself, or I had a similar experience, or I can really have empathy and compassion for what you might be holding, because I might have experienced it too, or I know someone in my community who's experienced something that I help support them through something similar. And then third is, we're not just saying this just to say it. Like this really has to come with some integration and action. We're at that time, y'all. We can't just be talking about it. We got to be about it. So when we offer, these gems and pearls, and you ain't picking up what we putting down, honey, that's on you. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So what you do with what we share is completely up to you. But what we're hoping is the intention for why we're offering this is so that you can be guided into liberation. And if you take care of yourself, you know how to take care of you, and you have support and guidance, that can ripple effect to the relationships you have in your community. And that's really the work right now. Yeah. Is knowing how to cultivate what you need in yourself so you know what to offer to others. You know how to show up for yourself so you know how to show up for other people. You know how to hold yourself accountable so that you can also be accountable when you're with others.
So where can we find you?
Where can you find us? Well, I really try not to stay too much in the matrix, honey, but you're already viewing us from YouTube or whatever. You know what I mean? But if you're not in the Bay, and unable to go to our in-person events, we have everything on our website, unlearningschool.org, O-R-G.
In the description box.
Yes, all of this information is in the description box. You can, if you want to submit like your own questions or, something that you would like to ask one of the Oracle aunties, you can email us at unlearning.community.school@gmail.com. You can write an email. You can leave us a voice memo. You can record a short video of yourself asking the things. You could also slide into our DMs on Instagram at unlearning.community.school.
And we will have a Patreon set up. So
very shortly.
Very shortly, because we really want to be a really open and real and honest space. We're not doing this in order to create a livelihood or generate income. We're doing this as an extension of the Unlearning Community School community space and building a virtual community space behind the Patreon wall, which will be a simple monthly subscription. We will have longer videos, be able to discuss topics in an even more unfiltered way where the video won't get flagged. We will also have an Ask an Auntie Oracle focus on sacred sexuality. So you can think of that of like the after hours Ask an Auntie Oracle, because we're going to, again, be keeping it real, be keeping it raw. I am a dirty old auntie. I'm a cougar. In the streets. So I've experienced a lot, and we provide not only that Gen X perspective, millennial perspective, Gen Z perspective, but also the perspective of someone who was booed up and partnered up in a really formal, official way, whereas I was out here being a serial monogamous or sometimes just letting my freak flag fly. So you know what I'm saying? So we cover all the bases. That's why we will have a Patreon shortly, so you'll be able to see us on the main Unlearning Community School YouTube channel as well as Patreon.
Yes. By the way, the YouTube will just have maybe like one special segment, right? But the comments are going to be turned off because, again, we don't need the matrix surveilling and controlling us out here. So if you want to be really part of our community, share your comments, go to the after hours Ask An Auntie Oracle. The deeper, filthy reads is all going to be in Patreon. We're probably going to just start it at like a $5 like monthly subscription. That's one taco in the Marina District. $5 a month, y'all. And you'll get all of that extra special content. And you're going to be building with a community and have, access to some aunties that if you feel like you can't talk to your actual aunties, well, we are offering ourselves to be your auntie in community with, and nothing is off limits. When you want to talk about it, move over to the Patreon. That's where we gonna get it cracking. So yeah, I hope that y'all will join us. This was just the intro, so get ready for the next episode where we dive deeper into the topics that were asked by our community members from our most recent event. We're going to be answering their questions and their, what's been on their heart and spirit. So tune into our next episode and first official dive into Ask An Auntie Oracle. Ask an Auntie Oracle. Ask an Auntie Oracle, what you want to know? Ask an Auntie Oracle.
So you'll see a lot more of us. Peace.
Like
Patches never gets on the cat tree.
she never does
Never.
this. The fact she peeped up like she was looking at the camera, like what?
I was like,
I was trying to compose myself.
You know what? I'm
Well,
gonna
you
just
saw
keep
that.
rolling with it.